welcome to another episode of the Nintendo Powercast. I forgot to hit all the right buttons before we got started, so we're doing it live. We're doing it live. Cheesy, what's going on?
What's going on, cheese curds?
Crawler, what's happening?
Hey, how's it going? Carl coming at you.
Johnny, what's up?
What's up? It's not even October yet, and you're doing the
I know I was
spooky voice.
It was pre-spooky. I was just trying to get the little we're just starting early. We're starting early. So I'm so excited to talk with you guys. It feels like it's been forever, a whole week.
It's been a week.
Yeah. And I'm excited to be back here. Of course, guys, head on over to the Discord, n64josh.com/Discord, and come talk some games with us and have a good time over there. And before we jump too far into this, Cheesy, where can people connect with you?
You can find me on TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, CheesyC64, CheezyC64, and Communication Error Podcast.
Crawler, how about you?
Best spots are Twitter and TikTok, Nightcrawler724, Nightcrawlers without the E.
And Johnny.
I'm Johnny Bo everywhere: Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, in the Communication Error Podcast.
And remember, guys, you can get ad-free episodes, and there's going to be some new exclusive episodes coming soon to the subscribers of the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So, it's kind of been a relatively slow news week. What have you guys been playing? Like, have you been doing much gaming? Cheesy, you been doing much gaming?
Ahsoka came to Fortnite.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've just been playing a lot of F-Zero 99. Can't put it down. And now there's new courses. So, the addiction continues.
Are you going pro?
I would like to. I've gotten first, 4 times, but I don't know how.
You think you go pro by going first 4 times?
I'm working on it.
How long have you played this game?
God, I don't want
to. How many hours have you played this game?
Are you above 50 now?
I think I'm 60, but can we check our hours now? Is it
has it been 10 days? 10 days? It might be 10
has
days.
It been 10 days?
I don't know. Let me see.
Probably has been.
But yeah, it's a ridiculous amount, and I find it to be really fun, but at the same time, I don't know what it is that I'm doing wrong, because I most of the time get into the top 25 and
get good.
You gotta get good. Yeah, that's literally the get good.
Johnny, you can't talk. You don't even have one win.
I have multiple wins. I've been playing a ton of F-Zero 99.
Yeah.
Actually, I've been practicing lying. I've been playing Lies of P. What's kind of fun? It's not a Nintendo game, so I apologize. But the more you lie in that game, the more you become human. And I think that's kind of depressing.
Who do you lie to? Do you talk to a lot of people? I only played
there's
30 minutes of it.
Not huge spoilers, but the first thing you have to lie, you have to say that you're not a puppet. You have to say you're a human.
Mm.
So, according to my Switch, I have played 50 hours or more of F-Zero 99.
If you go, I just went to records. Playtime is in your game. If you go there.
Okay.
I played 7.5 hours.
You definitely got your money's worth out of it.
Yeah. What are we charging now? It's $2, or what are we paying?
I don't even know.
$2 a year or something like that.
No, it's like
$50 a month.
$50 a year if you get the expansion pack.
Yeah.
So I've had 2 total wins in the F-Zero 99, but I've had a total of 11 wins in. No, sorry, that's Team Battle. Where's my actual? Oh, if I go to the tracks.
That's nice that they tell you. I've had 2 wins in F-Zero 99, and then the others were in a cup.
I've had.
They just added 5 tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had 4 on Mute City, 2 on Big Blue, 2 on Deathwind. So I've had 8 total. It's on your player.
Yeah, and how many hours have you played? Probably not 50.
7.5.
Get
Okay, so F-Zero 99. Crawler, you said some Fortnite?
Yeah. With Ahsoka, and I'm almost, I think, level 90, so almost done with the Battle Pass.
Are lightsabers back?
Yep.
Oh, okay. All right.
And force double jump and force push.
Okay, all right. I'm here for it. My son wanted to play right after this, so I think I'm going to play a little bit with him. So, Johnny,
I'm hoping my boy
playing?
gets put in. I don't want to spoil Ahsoka, but I hope we get a couple characters from Ahsoka.
I'm hoping that Ahsoka only has one page of stuff to unlock. I hope they add a second page and we get Ahsoka the White and like a glider and some other stuff. But
are you playing on Nintendo Switch?
No. God no. It's downloaded on there, but I don't ever play on there. I play on PC or PlayStation.
That might look worse than Mortal Kombat on Switch. Maybe.
It depends on what's going on my PC. Some like last night, like I think Steam was updating stuff in the background, and like the first game or two before a lot of the textures and stuff have been rendered once or twice in the game. It looked like Nintendo Switch for a little bit flying into Fortnite.
See, I know we talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever's next a lot. And I would love to just have one console that I don't have to keep switching back. Like, I don't want to have to play my Xbox for one certain game, play my Switch for another game. Like, let me just play everything that I want on.
Well, anymore, I do that because Switch. Hard drive space is so limited. I download one thing on Xbox and then have the other thing on PlayStation or something like that. And because you got to move so much, I was clearing off space for Lies of P, and I updated Rainbow Six Siege just to check out the sledge stuff that they added for Master Chief. But you got to play the shell game with the hard drive space right now.
Yeah, let's just have Microsoft buy Nintendo like they were talking about.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that last week. We can talk about that.
Like consolidate all the, because like I'm thinking like it's so annoying to have to turn on multiple consoles. Like I have to find the right controller every time.
We can put an end to the A, B, X, Y location debate.
But I do wish I could play more third-party games on the Switch, because like I want to play in handheld mode. I don't want to play. I hate sitting down and playing games. I hate it.
Up.
Johnny, the more you complain, the more these are not
and play.
big issues. These are just
no. All right, so
welcome
handheld
to the First
mode
World
is
Problem
like
podcast
with Johnny's 5 switches.
But I hate just like sitting at my desk and playing a game.
Yeah, push that camera over and let's see the lounging chair over there, right?
Oh yeah, well, I'll probably like fall off. I'm not gonna do it. But yeah, I got a whole setup to my right that has a nice recliner chair, has a nice. Well, I don't even. So I could have the Phillies on when they're in the playoffs, and then play my Switch.
All right, brag a little bit.
But isn't that how you guys isn't that how people use handheld mode? Like they just have like the TV on in the background, and then you're sitting on the couch or a chair or something?
At least that's the way they advertised the Wii U. There was a baseball game going on, and the kid had to switch to the gamepad.
Your significant other actually gets to have you in the same room.
Yeah. You know, she's watching something on Netflix, and I'm playing my Switch.
Yeah. I don't know. You got 5
Josh,
switches,
what are
Johnny.
you playing? What have you been playing?
You have bathroom switches, Johnny.
I do. So... I have a Switch per bathroom. I'm like the Russell Wilson of bathrooms.
But with switches.
With switches, yeah. I have more switches than I have bathrooms.
Yep.
He doesn't have as many touchdowns as bathrooms.
It's been a very slow news week.
What have I been playing? Monster Hunter Now, which is the mobile Monster Hunter.
It's the Pokemon Go Monster Hunter, right?
Yeah. Except I was like, this weekend was an event where you could hunt Diablos, and I was like, my son and I were pretty excited, and I actually went and drove around to the different, because you have to go to like the desert location to find the Diablos, and so I went to a few of them, and I paintballed a few of them, because then you just take them back, and then we can fight together, like just sitting on the porch or whatever. And so I was like, I went and got 8 of them. Come back, we couldn't beat one of them. They were too high leveled compared to what And the amount of playing I would have had to have done of like going and like collecting so much stuff to try to level up.
It sounds like a Monster Hunter game. It sounds perfect.
It's just, it might be a little too perfect. Like, I was like, it kind of sucked my will to keep going with it. Honestly, I'm kind of like, because it's, you know how like Pokemon Go, if you don't go to like a Pokestop or you don't go to a gym, you're kind of like, you can play, but you're not going to get as many, like you're not going to really get many Pokeballs and that kind of thing. It's similar with this. You need so many different materials, and some of them only come from like there's essentially like the Pokestops where you have to go and then tap on the different, and so it might be dinosaur bones one day, and it might be crystals the other day, and it might be plants the other day. Well, when that if you don't, like, I needed like 8 earth crystals, and I'm like, I don't even know where these are going to come from. And then my son looked at his phone. He's like, well, if I do this mission, I get 4 of them. I didn't have that mission. And so I'm kind of like, I don't know.
I'm sure you could have found a way to use real money to get it.
That's the other thing. No, you would think that would be the case, but their monetization strategy is for paintballs and to expand your, like, how big your area is when you're like walking around, and then you can buy potions, and that's pretty much it. Like, I was hoping like maybe you could get double XP or something if you bought like, you know, like a one-time thing. So you know, nothing like that, unfortunately. So I did fire up a little bit of Mario Kart last night before I went to bed, but it was short-lived. I just wanted to start knocking out more of the Grand Prix, but I think I jumped right into 200cc and did like 3 races, and then I'm like, my head was starting to dip, so I'm like, well, I tried. So I still have the I don't know why. I think because I've been into golf more this summer, I've had the urge to play Mario Golf, but I still don't ever take the time to do it. And I did play a little bit of Smash. Crawler and I played a little bit of Smash. Mm-hmm. But I think that was actually last week, not this week. So, other than that,
was that last week?
That's pretty much it. I've done a little bit of Halo, but not a lot of game time. I'm still just I'm just working too much right now. But it's good. It's good. So I want to play more soon. I hope. I miss racing with everybody. That's one of the things I really miss. I miss the Mario Kart streams. So hopefully set some time.
Hopefully soon-ish we'll get the final wave.
Yeah, where are they putting all the 2 characters? What are they going to do?
Big question.
It's going to be a surprise.
Is Toadette going to be also Peachette? You just swap between the characters? Or is Peach going to be Peachette?
See, it's just weird because like they haven't done that for other power-up characters.
And are they leaving it open for more potentially? Are they going to just
they'll probably reveal Booster Course Pass 2.
48 more courses.
48 more courses through 2025. And you're not getting a new Switch or a new console within that time, so
fun. It's just going to become a live service game like Josh wants.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind it, except now that these developers that have live service games are shutting down. Mm-hmm. Or not shutting down. They're
getting laid off.
Laying people off.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the headlines and stuff for everything, and it's like Epic Games, maker of Fortnite, lays off but like it's mostly the studio that does Fall Guys, right?
Yeah, Mediatronic or whatever.
So, and I thought I saw something that Ubisoft was laying off people too, right?
They are. I retweeted one of their retweeted somebody that did get laid off that was looking for work.
I think Activision might be as well.
Well, there was like a Sega game that they just like ended today. Hyenas.
Oh yeah, Hyenas. It didn't even come out. It was in like closed beta.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, that's not going to happen anymore.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know we've talked about this before. I would be okay if not everybody in the space has to be Fortnite. You can't all be Fortnite. We can't have. I was surprised that this isn't on Switch as well, but I'm surprised that Ubisoft is greenlighting Division 3. Like, how many people are really playing that? Like Division 2, I feel like Division 2 didn't do that well, did it?
I don't know. I don't remember many people talking about it, but maybe it won't be a live service game. Maybe it'll just be a single player experience.
They don't have it in them for their investors to not make it live service.
The Division was a pretty big deal.
2? I mean, I remember Division 1, but Division 2?
2 was, yeah, it was still, because a lot of it bled over into the Destiny community, and so
I just Division didn't feel as fun because it just was like better stats on the same gun that you already had. It wasn't like unique gear that you were grinding for.
Well, the hard part about that game is like, this game is realistic, and then you're shooting somebody like 900
That's a bullet
times,
sponge.
and you're like, usually one bullet is realistic, but that's cool. That's fine. I think it's a conversation worth having, though. In my mind, the tides had turned towards live service games kind of being the kind of like what we were moving towards, right? But it also, you can't just throw, like, Rocket League does great, but like Fall Guys, I mean, the writing was on the wall as far as I was concerned. Like, that game like lost its luster for me in like a day.
And it lived in the zeitgeist for a little bit. It had a lot of streamers playing it. It was getting a lot of eyes on it. That leads a lot of other people to go download and play it. It was a free-to-play game, which is helpful. It's also helpful that it's like part of the Epic umbrella because they know how to do that kind of thing with a free game, with a pass, with a season pass, with skins, with other stuff that doesn't hamstring you by making you have to buy it. Like, and you also, and then, I mean, I guess you're a little upset when you pump money into it for skins and stuff and it closes, but a good chunk of people, if they didn't buy anything and they're just getting a free experience out of it, then there's no, I mean, it's just an experience that they don't get to have anymore after it's closed. They didn't lose any money with it. But
it's interesting, it wasn't always free. Like, they bought
that's true. I bought it. I think I bought it on PC, and then it became free after Epic bought it.
Is it Epic bought it like a year ago, 2 years ago, maybe?
And Rocket League wasn't free either. Rocket League used to cost money. Rocket League got its boost when it was a free game on PlayStation, and that got a lot of people in the door.
Didn't
on that.
It start there?
It started there, yeah. And then it was, after it wasn't the free game of the month on PlayStation, it was on sale, I think, for like $20. I think I bought it physically for Switch. And Switch has a cool gimmick with the Mario Karts, but it's not visible to anybody else outside of your ecosystem.
And it's barely visible on the Switch.
Sean Capri in the house. I bought Rocket League on everything.
I think I have. I'm not sure if I bought it on everything, but I have it on everything. I think I have it because it's free now on Epic. So I have it on PC. I have it on Switch. I have it on Xbox and PlayStation.
What was it that like made people stop caring about Fall Guys? Because I think when it first came out, it was exciting and we all were trying out these new courses and trying to get the crown, right? But I do remember a lot of gamers being upset that people have figured out strats right away. And yeah, there's always going to be a strategy in a game, but it seemed like that took the fun out of it. Part of the fun was like being
the randomness.
Yeah,
there was randomness
silly.
to it, and it lost some of that.
But people just stopped streaming it. That's why it died.
Is that? Do you guys agree with that? Do you think that's the case? You think it's the big streamers that keep some of these games alive, and when they stop, the games stop?
I think stream sniping contributes to player bases staying high. If a big streamer is there doing something, yeah.
What's a XQC or whatever? That guy could stream Mario Kart and put like, all of a sudden that directory is like 80,000 people. You're like, what? Who is playing Mario Kart right now? Like,
I think Shroud was playing Disney Racing today, or like the other day. They had like 25,000 viewers.
But I mean, you look at like Counter-Strike just relaunched to Counter-Strike 2, and that has a lot of the big names playing it, and that's a free-to-play game that has skins and gambling in it, pretty much, by just paying money to roll the dice on a knife or gun skins or whatever, and that has a lot of people playing it right now. I mean, streamers definitely, influencers are a big part of what keeps certain things alive, I think.
Yeah, but how sucky for the developers, because at that moment they think, oh, this is our game. This is the next big thing, and we need to put more and more into it. And then they stop streaming, and all of that hard work goes for nothing.
Well, it happened with Splitgate. Like, Splitgate blew up for, a couple weeks. Then everybody stopped playing it.
It was the lead up to Halo.
Everybody stopped playing it, and they shut it down. But they did get their money.
Didn't they say they were working on Splitgate 2 as well?
No, they're working on something else. I don't think it's Splitgate 2, but they're working on something else. But they got their money. Like, Mediatronic got paid.
Well, and guess what? Splitgate had been around a long time before it got that big pre-Halo boost. Like, I had played that a while ago, and it had evolved.
Splitgate got money. Like, they got...
they got like $10 million or something.
They got VC funding?
I believe so.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But so my question is then what if we kind of are in agreement that it seemed like the tides were shifting towards like the free to play games as a service model, where it's like, the way games through the years, NES, Super Nintendo, before the internet, it was you buy your game, that was it, right? And then you got to the Xbox, and they started DLC, and then
for summer.
Well, then and then the 360, of course, and the PlayStation 3, and the 3DS for Nintendo.
Well, and Summer of Arcade changed kind of how we got our games and how we started consuming them as well.
But the model of like buy a game, buy DLC, we still see it, but like, I don't know. I feel like it had like you still have people always complaining about that, and then you have people complaining about games as a service. And it's like, Fortnite has not slowed down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
be more like Capcom. They just launch like a 10-hour like experience on top of Resident Evil 4 for like $10. Like, be more like that. More experiences that are bang for your buck, that expands on something that isn't reliant on servers having to stay online as well.
But when it comes to like Nintendo, let's say with Mario Kart, would it go the way of Fall Guys, or could they? Is that have enough brand equity? If they did it correctly, could it? Let's say they take the Splatoon model to some extent.
They got to be careful with that.
But add it to Mario Kart, where there's like special cups every quarter or something, where maybe we all choose teams, like. And we race for those teams. Like, does that...
I think even in a small way, what they're doing with F-Zero 99 and this rotating ticket system, where if you play the game for 2 hours, you're going to see everything cycle through. And if you don't want to do that, you just hop into the default 99 race. And then there's some in that slot that doesn't require ticket. It's the expert courses. And then there's some that require just one ticket. It's the mini pre, and then there's the Grand Prix that comes through I think over the weekend it's going to be every half hour. I think normally it's every hour or every 2 hours or something like that. And it doesn't divide a player base. It incentivizes you to keep playing. Otherwise, it incentivizes you to log in daily because you get another ticket each day that you log in. And it and it's not even that hard for us to queue up with each other across the country. Like, we just time at countdown, and there's got to be more than 5,000, 6,000 people playing this game at one time, and we're still able to kind of get into the same game by just queuing at the same time. There could be more features that come to this, but I think they got to be careful with a Splatoon style. They got to pick and choose what they have, because I think the rotation every 2 hours on a Splatoon map, only 2 maps, gets old quick on some stuff. But
so I'm gonna do the whole Twitch viewership thing right now. I'm looking at the Twitch viewership right now.
Doesn't matter. That doesn't.
It does matter. It does matter.
Oh,
it does matter. It does.
I knew it was coming down to this.
But here's the thing, all right? So you're gonna like this. F099 has 17,000 viewers on Twitch right now. It's like top,
and that's 2 weeks old now, right?
Well,
yeah, but
okay,
because of new content.
DLC,
it's because of new content.
Right.
Yeah.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has 600 viewers right now. So like if you inject that with content every few weeks, like you're gonna get people seeing it. That might not matter for their sales numbers, but like there's no Nintendo game is being watched.
But I think the bigger issue is like they don't know, like these companies don't know who their fan base is, right? Like Nintendo is different because Nintendo has their set IP and they know that is their fan base. But like something like Fall Guys, who is that for?
Nintendo players.
Okay, so I want to hit a few of the chats, but I have a question that we're going to talk about this and what happens to Nintendo in 20 years. So we'll circle back. Okay, so Cryptic says something changed because of the 360. We would play Halo for years and Call of Duty, and then they would only release map packs every 4 months, and that's true. That's how we played our games. There also wasn't. It was like everybody was kind of playing the same things unless you were on PC, right? Mm. Crawler's going crazy with production right now.
There it is.
646 views.
Yeah, that's high for Mario Kart. There's a lot of times that I could stream Mario Kart with 20 viewers and be the top streamer. A lot of times that channel's usually like pretty dead.
So you might say it doesn't matter, but it does. Fortnite is one of the most profitable games ever, and it consistently is super profitable because it's a live service. Now, I know Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sold 50 million units, and that's super profitable, but it's still probably not as profitable as Fortnite.
Well, Fortnite is $20 a skin. I mean,
yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. They're keeping it in the front of everybody's mind. It's been like that for 4 years. If Nintendo would do that, they would make bank.
Especially with Mario Kart.
Yeah, with Mario Kart.
I don't know if they would. I mean, we've talked about it before. People do not view Nintendo as like a all gamer experience.
And right? I didn't like how it felt seeing. Well, they first off made it pay to win based on the skin that you had in Mario Kart Tour. So that was their first problem with all those skins, but they were absurdly expensive for a mobile game, like per skin. And it was the statistics on pulling what you wanted to pull was super low at the beginning. I don't know if it changed at all, but isn't Tour going offline as well?
Yeah, in October.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're just not updating it anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will they still let you spend money in it?
Of course.
Of course they will.
I think they're just going to recycle content, because who knows? Maybe they're doing a sequel. I don't know if it was profitable enough for them to do that. I don't know what the reasoning is. But think about it. They already technically made Deluxe and Tour work together to a certain extent. Maybe that's part of their move for the next game. Maybe that's why Tour's not getting any more updates, because the next game's going to incorporate more. And I mean, would that bother me? Not necessarily. If I could be working on a battle pass or something on mobile that worked with worked with the Switch stuff. I mean,
well, the new iPhone 15 will play what? Resident Evil
4 remake.
Oh, really? That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild. Brian has a good point here. He says gaming has always been niche. It had its golden age, and now it's in its decline. It's been bloated and now is returning to some normalcy. We will lose a ton of devs, but the ones that want to stick around will still be here. And the profit seekers will move to the next big thing.
I mean, is it in decline? Isn't it like the highest grossing entertainment right now? Like over movies and TV?
Yeah, movies had their decline due to world events and have started coming back. Video games blossomed because of that circumstance, I think, and the rise of digital distribution and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. We're getting back into where games cost what, $80-$90 in the 90s to buy, and we're getting back up into that.
Didn't
higher
didn't
price
Capcom
point.
just come out and say something, or somebody said games are too cheap right now? They should be, they cost 10 times more than they had, or 100 times more than they have in the past. And
Well, people are gun shy about buying a game because it's not a guarantee that the game that you're buying is going to stick around. Second of all, you're buying it digitally, and is it going to be available for you to download and play later as well? Because games have gotten delisted, and then you can't download them again.
So, take us out of the equation. What happens to Nintendo?
Right now, they're growing.
If our generation wasn't introducing, like, if they didn't have the pull,
The nostalgia pull.
Would they do we think a lot of their stuff would be on the chopping block? Because they've been able to, I mean, they've got us buying games we don't even play, right?
Please, Kirby, just get rid of Kirby, please. I'm so sick of Kirby. We got like 10 Kirbys in the last 2 months.
Yeah, we got one today, didn't we?
We got one today.
But I think kids enjoy the introduction to video games. Like, it's still a good introduction.
Let me finish my thought with this because it'll make sense. My kids are not buying anything Nintendo. My boys, they're buying nothing Nintendo.
Your boys are adults now.
Yeah, how old are they though?
What are we?
I know, but they're like no,
all right, okay, but
they're like college age, right? They're like 20s. When I was in my 20s, I wasn't buying Nintendo stuff.
Okay.
I thought that was lame.
I was.
And Kitty.
I was too.
But I mean, my son is playing some like Ghost game. And quick shout out to Conrad Stevenson Paranormal PI, launched today on PC, made by one developer. Go check it out on Steam, guys. It's good. There's a link in my bio on all my socials if you don't want to have to type all that in. But he's playing. My oldest basically played Call of Duty and Fortnite. That was basically it. And then the younger one is Destiny. They'll play Valorant together sometimes, maybe. Counter-Strike 2 is out now, I guess. I think he's done some of that. And he plays, like, for single player, he plays some Ghost, like Phasmophobia kind of stuff. Like, there's another Ghost game that's out and pretty popular right now. But it's also I think it's a little bit more of a games as a service game, but it's not quite as, I guess I could use the term predatory if that's the way, or as aggressive, right? Like they're putting out DLCs and stuff, but it's more like an indie team working on it from my
So he thinks gaming is stale right now. He's one of those people like, oh man, gaming is stale. We only got Fortnite and Call of Duty and Counter-Strike.
But that's kind of my point. Like, what happens to the generations coming? Like, we've followed gaming all the way through, but they started with like the 360. Their console Christmas was an Xbox One.
Yeah. Are they excited at all for Mario platforming to come back or no? No.
No,
Okay.
not even on the only Nintendo game I could get my son to play would be a little bit of Smash periodically, and Monster Hunter, and that's pretty much it. Now, will we sit down and pull out all a bunch of Switches and all play Mario Kart? Sure, periodically, and is everybody laughing and having a good time? And yes, but they, my son sold the one that had it sold the Switch to probably pay a bill or something like that when he moved out on his own.
Johnny's got 4 more for
him. Get college books. That's what I did. I sold my GameCube.
You have collection. 8 more for him at your house somewhere.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So,
well, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but when they were kids, I'm assuming you played younger. When they were younger, you played
my
Nintendo games.
My youngest or my oldest, I started him on Halo. He was 3 years old.
It's your fault.
Yeah, shame on
you. When Nintendo fails, it's your fault.
That's what it is.
I mean, but for real, he was at 3 years old. He's like, "Mom, there's a spider. I need guns and grenades." She's like, "Okay, you need to stop playing." The other thing he would do is we would tell him, "Don't shoot your team." Because if you shoot the Marines, they would start swearing at him. And he's 3 years old and they're like, you can't. Yeah. I mean, honestly, one of the most fun times with them is we got in Halo 1. I got in a Warthog with overshields on, and both boys got in tanks, and they would shoot me and send me flying across Blood Gulch. And then the other one would go and they'd shoot me and send me flying back, and they would laugh. And I mean, it was a very fond memory to look back on. I mean, my son, I got him a DS, the younger one. And he started crying one Christmas. He was so excited to get his DS, and he flipped. But see, when you ask them about their favorite memories about the DS, they're gonna tell you flip notes. Talk to the TikTok generation about what they did a lot on their DS, and they're gonna tell you the 3DS. They're gonna tell you about flip notes. How many times did any of us touch flip notes? How many of you are hearing about flip notes for the first time? Right there. Yeah, it was essentially this little, you could draw, animate cartoons and have it was kind of like a cartoon YouTube that I guarantee they saw stuff that if I had found out they were watching, I would not have been happy about. Right. But this
Bring back Meverse.
Was their generation Snapchat?
I mean, it was, it was look up old flip notes and you'd be like, what in the world? But they would take, it was almost like a TikTok kind of thing where it would take 15 seconds of a song and then make some animation with it. And they loved it. But then give them a game like Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm like, what is this crap? I
don't understand the draw of that at all. They had a huge big booth at PAX.
It has a movie coming out. And yeah. I look at this game and I'm like, how is this fun? Literally animatronics are like, boo. I'm like, yeah, go play Resident Evil. What? How is this? But
the music scares me in Resident Evil. I mean,
you talk to that generation and they're like, that's their, it's almost like they're Mario at times. Right. And my kids had access to all when they were super young on top of having an Xbox or whatever, but they would play Godzilla. And they would, I remember the older one would always do the same move against the younger one and then make him upset, right? Just the full on Big Brother move, right? But it's just, they're not going out and buying a $70 game. Maybe Monster Hunter, but they're typically buying DLCs. My oldest son played all of the free stuff. Fortnite, didn't buy skins, didn't buy Battle Pass, did not care. It was all about competition, and that was it. Now he's burned out on gaming, and he's he took a couple month break, and he's finally gone and played a little bit of Fortnite and stuff, and he's having he could coach. He's so good at that game. He could literally coach, probably professionally. He's unbelievable. But they're not they don't care about Mario Wonder. They're not thinking about Super Mario RPG. That's not even a blip on the radar. I don't even know that they've ever played an RPG. Now that's definitely my kids, right? I get that, but
well, and you set them up to fail with that, with starting with Halo.
Yeah, going back to what you said.
I mean, I think Nintendo has always had competitors that were more mature, right? Maybe not in the NES days or the SNES days, but PlayStation 1 was more mature. Xbox was more mature.
I would argue that Sega was more mature. I mean, that was like their whole brand with Nintendo.
Yeah, but they sucked. So
Sega do what Nintendo don't.
Well, that 50% market share would say otherwise. So,
but yeah, I mean, I think Nintendo will always, they'll be around, but they're marketing to kids. Like that's their. And on Mario's 50th anniversary, when we're on our deathbeds, okay, maybe 60th anniversary.
Yeah, why are you always like assuming that we're just gonna be dead quicker than?
Wait, when 50 is 15 years from now? I don't know if I'll make that
quicker for Josh.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean,
I wish it was.
They're 15. Not going to care about. People don't care about, or kids like we're the ones that care about Super Mario Bros. 35th, or any of those anniversaries.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll say it's cool, right? Like they'll be like, "Oh, cool!" Like, but they're not spending money on it. My son has like a Vans shirt with Mario on it. I was so pissed that it was at like a thrift store and it fit him and not me, And he still, I think he just likes to wear it out of spite at this point. He's just like, it fits me and not you,
The Mario movie did really well, but I wonder what a sequel will do. Like, I wonder if it will come anywhere near.
Well, we're getting Yoshi, so it'll be good.
I also don't want to like speak about this like it's in a complete vacuum either, right? Because there are a lot of kids that during that generation, the Wii was the only console they had. So you can talk to like, who's Kyle, right? And he'd be like, yo, like the Mario, like he's a huge Nintendo fan because the Wii was his first console. And he loves that. He loves so many of the kids on TikTok. You ask them what the best Mario Kart is, they'll tell you Mario Kart Wii.
And they're wrong.
It's the
worst one.
It's down low on my list for sure. But they look at it with the most rose-tinted glasses and just love it.
They sat there with their Wiimote, turning it side to side. I got the stupid wheels over there somewhere.
But yeah.
Yeah, they don't care about the rubber banding.
Nope. No, but again, looking back at my son, at one point, he held the fastest time on one of those Mario Kart tracks because he figured out the glitch. Right? Like, but it was short-lived. He's like, I'm going back to Call of Duty. So, our Mario Kart Wii was Mario Kart 64. I mean, I know Brian agrees with that for sure. Like, it's yeah. It's just an interesting time in gaming because it's not. I think gamers. It felt like the majority of the gamers were relatively united as far as you were. The console gamers were console gamers, and then you had PC, right? And the PC was it to me because I was always on the console. The PC stuff seemed more like a little bit of an outlier or whatever, but that was just where I was in life, right? So but now it seems like it's less about like console or PC and more about like, are you into games as a service? Are you into single player games? Are you like, where do you land and where do you spend your money? And there's so many options now that like, maybe that's, I mean, I hate seeing people lose their jobs, but it's probably the healthiest thing for gaming if,
prune the tree a little bit.
If we can prune things out a little bit. Like I don't like it, but
so like your original question with this was, where do you think Nintendo would be without our age demographic? I think they would have far less titles. We wouldn't see Mario RPG. We wouldn't see. I'm trying to think what else has come out this year that was. We wouldn't see Metroid Prime remaster. We wouldn't see some of those games that are GameCube and Wii remaster kind of games. The biggest clamoring that you hear about before before a direct besides Silksong is Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD. And I mean, I don't think that the younger kids are looking for that. My three are excited for Mario Wonder. My younger two play Mario 3D World quite a bit. They struggle with what they're doing, but they enjoy playing it together. William still enjoys playing Splatoon by himself. He hasn't gotten back into Tears of the Kingdom that much, but he plays almost everything on Switch except for Fortnite. He's playing on my old PS4. So I mean, they have the advantage of my extensive game library to pull from. So that's different than, I guess, a random other 6, 7, 8, 10-year-old that is asking for stuff from parents that don't necessarily buy everything that Nintendo makes or whatever. But I think it would almost be better for all these companies if they just made 3 or 4 things and they focused and made them really well. And then they wouldn't get turned off, and they wouldn't and find a way to prolong the life of it, but that doesn't benefit the investors. It's not for us anymore. It's somewhat catered to us, but it's with an end goal to feed the bottom line to make the investors happy.
I wonder about that, somewhat about the generations where the GameCube is not going to have nearly amount. Like right now, Nintendo is kind of in a like in a renaissance, for them, where like you can't walk into Target without seeing Mario t-shirts, right? Where like I can think about times during like the GameCube era, like you couldn't even you'd have to go to GameStop or something to get Mario clothes. Like it wasn't nearly as much out there as it is now. And I mean with them having a movie, and even think when we were kids, Mario TV shows, Mario cartoons, like it was Mario everything. Carl and I just walked through the Nintendo Power Museum, right? Like that they had at PAX, and it was like it was crazy the amount of subscriptions they had for Nintendo Power and all that kind of stuff. But now it's I think like much like the younger generation right now is loving Mario again. I think Nintendo's going to do well for quite a while, but when I just think about like my kids and what they're playing, and I mean, we could probably look at our I know, Crawler, when you were in college, you played a ton of Halo 2. Mm-hmm. Probably more so than you played your GameCube, right? And
I didn't have a GameCube, and Halo came out my freshman year of college. November 2004 was in the dorms, and the lead up to that, we were playing. That was it was a whole new world opened up to you with an Xbox and a LAN cable on a shared network in a 12-story dorm. That there was always a Halo CE game that you could go find just by the LAN cable. And that was pre Xbox Live. Well, Xbox Live was around, but Halo wasn't supported by that. And so
Xbox Connect, is that what you said?
Well, no, but like being on a LAN network in a college dorm, there was just that many just that many Xboxes connected, and that's how some friendships started, like good rivalries and that kind of stuff. But then that folded over to when Halo came out, and everyone, if you didn't have one, everyone got an Xbox Live subscription, and then the rest of the world became available to play games with. Like that was just a change.
Cheesy, where are you at on all this? Because like what was your first console? Your first Nintendo console?
Well, it's hard to think about because like my grandma had an NES and my aunt had a Super NES, but like the first one that I owned, I guess, was an N64. But I also had a Game Boy Pocket when I was younger. So yeah, this whole conversation is really, it honestly kind of depresses me just because like I know people say that Nintendo adults are just Disney adults, and maybe that's
Disney
true.
adults.
Yeah.
I like Disney too. All right. I own it.
Yeah. But like for me, that is the joy and wonderment that you had when you were a kid. And like maybe that is a reason we still love it. That's a reason why I still love it. Another reason I am that I mostly play Nintendo games is because I wasn't allowed to play these games that kids are now playing today. So like in a way, and I'm not going to like just target the whole issue on this, but it's like a parenting issue. It depends on like what you want your kids to play, and if they want to play games that are teen, that's their choice, right? That's the parents' choice if they want the kids to play that. I wasn't allowed to. Like I joke that my first Grand Theft Auto games was Spider-Man 2 for the GameCube.
Yeah, I feel kind of weird yelling at my 10-year-old, shoot him with a gun, stop using a lightsaber, switch guns, change guns, shoot him. Like that's what I'm yelling at him as he's sitting.
Let him use a lightsaber
4 feet away from me.
But like that's also the difference, right? Is like we haven't even talked about the players in Japan. Like they're going to keep Nintendo alive because that is what they gravitate towards. They watch anime like it's perfectly normal. And like it's, you know, but like
you said it's not perfectly normal to watch anime because that's exactly what that sounded like.
At Cheesy C64.
At Cheesy C64, it is not normal to watch anime.
That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that America would think that that's
America.
Childish. Yeah, exactly.
Well, actually, so my partner is a high school librarian, and they love manga. They love manga. And they actually have there's a Smash Club. There is a Smash Bros club. So there are kids that play Nintendo games. And yeah, I mean, we were the weirdos in high school, like in Nintendo.
Yeah.
It's a little more
I think it's still the same.
It's a little more accepted now.
Yeah, but when I was in high school, the new game was GoldenEye. Everybody was clamoring to play that. That was,
Gosh,
that's what I know.
Wow.
Thanks.
But then you have like stories like the Van Gogh Museum with Pokemon, and you're like, okay, Nintendo's never going away because they're still causing riots for Pokemon cards.
Or Santa Cruz this last 2 weeks. I've thought about trying to go to a skate shop and buy a Pokemon skateboard, but
are those blind packs?
Yeah, they're blind packs.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, think about the Seattle Aquarium and how that's going to be with the Animal Crossing.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But see, again, like look at what the Switch and Nintendo did during the pandemic, right? Like that's what kept everybody going was Animal Crossing. Like it was talk about lightning in a bottle.
Well, there's like a whole genre of creators for cozy games.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like they could hone in on that area with Animal Crossing, and then they could, they have some other games that could be considered cozy.
But Nintendo could honestly do Mario Kart and Animal Crossing as games as a service and probably do very well. If we know both the mobile games did decent, and if they were actual games, not just, time wasters, but actual like, because again, thinking about a battle pass with like, I think it could probably be something similar to like what Rocket League has, where you're, if I was unlocking more things by just racing, that would be awesome. Like,
you do.
And don't make it as grindy
you
as
did
Splatoon.
For a time. You've just played 700 hours in that game. You've unlocked everything.
Yeah, but there's not a ton to unlock. Like once you unlock everything,
I mean,
you're done.
There's a gold thing for what, 10,000 coins or whatever, and then the grindiest stuff is the gold stuff, and one is doing time trials, which not a lot of people do. The other is collect 10,000 coins, and I forget what the last thing is.
It's a 1 star on all cups.
Oh, okay.
And there's also, I think you have to get,
which everybody should have Gold Mario then, if that's all it is.
I think it's 1 star on 200cc for that.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Well, then maybe not.
Yeah. It is. So Cheesy, to go back on what you were saying a little bit, like, because like I've actually never heard that Nintendo adults are just Disney adults. Like I'd never heard.
Oh, really?
Have you read any comments?
Yeah.
I don't actually read any of my comments.
That's probably the healthy way to do it, honestly.
So, but what
read
what do you think
few,
now that
like,
you've heard that?
Well, so it's interesting because, you know, talking with people that like love Disney, right? And that similar to those people that love, I think there's going to be different reasons, right? But I think some of those reasons is Disney is a safe place for them, right? When they watched a Disney movie or went to Disneyland or whatever the case is, they were allowed to feel safe. And it dawned on me this week, because I'm getting ready to do a countdown for Wonder, where I take a look at all the different games through all the different 2D Mario games, and maybe all the Mario games in general. But it dawned on me that Mario was a safe place for me as a kid. It was like the only time I didn't have to worry about being rejected. Like I didn't have to worry about not fitting in, because
as long as your mom didn't get the
I only had 45 minutes a day.
Well, no, as long as your mom didn't see the instruction manual and read about the dark magic.
The black magic. Yeah, exactly. but it really, because I'm like, why do I still, I've got Mario tattooed on my body. It's like it's a freaking brand, but like, and even like, the majority of my shirts and everything, I'm like, what is with, and I think it really boils down to like, it's probably the safest I felt as a kid. I did not have a bad upbringing. Like I wasn't like I was in a bad home or anything along those lines, but like, I think we all needed those moments where we could like, it felt like I could just be me. Yeah. I would listen to my dad be like, why are you playing like he would play sports games with me, but he didn't like, Mario just wasn't his thing. And he was like, why do you want to play this over and over again? And I'm like, I don't know. I like to jump on turtles and rescue the princess and whatever whatever the case is. Like it was like my happy place. Right. And so, but I like kind of like what we were talking about. And as you brought it up, I'm wondering like for these younger generations, like, Five Nights at Freddy's for them might be like what their place to escape was.
Yeah. And even though like I am not a spooky person, I played Five Nights at Freddy's in college because somebody was like, you got to play this. And I did not like it. I was very scared. But I do understand why people like it, because there's lore to it. And if you like world building, you're sitting
in a security office. Trying to stop these animatronics from getting to you.
There's so much lore. And I mean, Crawler, I think it happened in Colorado. Like the real story of Five Nights at Freddy's happened at a Chuck E. Cheese in Colorado.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So there is some lore to it, and the more games that they put out, the more they can follow it. That's why people are really excited for the movie, because there's not just going to be one movie. There's going to be several that are going to introduce these characters that they're waiting to see, right? But I think it's also just like we didn't have an iPad that was in our face, right? We had a Game Boy that we could like play on.
But you waited for the streetlights.
If we were lucky.
Yeah, right. But those were games that were made by a family-friendly company. Now you have these apps and YouTube videos, and like it goes on a whole deeper level, but like we don't know what these kids are consuming. And I do think a little bit is they're desensitized. And I'm not trying to go on a whole rant of the way the kids are and the way that they should be. That's not how I grew up. Of course, their experience is going to be different, but that is going to change the way that they consume certain media.
Yeah, no question. No question. As you were talking about Five Nights at Freddy's, I have vivid memories of my kids all sitting around an iPad together, like jumping and screaming as something happened on Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that was... I remember one day out of the blue, my aunt was like, hey, I bought your kids an iPad mini. I was like, okay. I haven't even talked to you in forever, but all right. And so, but they played that thing like crazy. And I'm like, do you guys want a controller? Like, do you want,
Yeah.
Do you want to? No,
you could get all of the Five Nights at Freddy's on Switch.
Can you really?
Yeah, I think all of them.
But like, I don't know if you guys ever play Bendy and the Ink Machine. That's kind of a cartoony horror game, but that also has lore behind it.
Okay.
And I don't know. It's like these quick jump
Rooster
scares.
Teeth game, yeah.
What is it?
Rooster Teeth game.
I don't think so. It's by the Meatly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought Rooster Teeth was tied to it in some way, but I could be mistaken.
No, maybe they did some videos on it though.
Was it a physical release?
Yeah.
Okay, because I have the game. I just don't think I ever opened it.
It came out on Steam first, and then
okay,
I got pushed to Switch later. But I also know that I'm just the minority because like I don't have Xbox, I don't have a PlayStation, and there is no correlation when it comes to video games create violence. Like there's no correlation to that. But for me to play a game like Call of Duty or something like that doesn't feel good to me to control a character that is creating harm on like what is supposed to look like real people. So yeah, Nintendo is a safe space for me because it's colorful. It's these worlds that I would never be able to go to. They are these unrealistic enemies that I will only get to see in a Nintendo game, and it's creative. It's not.
I mean, you follow Mario's lead and get some mushrooms. You can go.
Also, have you seen the lore of Nintendo games?
No, I know.
Super dark.
I know. I'm like one of the big people that is always talking about that Nintendo isn't for babies because the lore is dark. But it doesn't make me feel like I'm gonna go out into the world. Like I'm not gonna leave my door and experience what is possibly on these games. And I'm not saying that these dark, gritty games, not all of them are bad, like they're masterpieces, right? But I know that that's a me issue. So I don't know.
Brian brought up an interesting stat now, and he said, look it up. It says the year the PlayStation came out in the US, crime actually dropped across the nation. He says, look it up. So that's interesting. But even Nate is saying, Cheesy might be onto something. My mom used to tell me garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, I believe in that.
Great. So Call of Duty is the reason I'm the way I am. Perfect.
I mean, I do think, I don't think there's any correlation between violence and video games, but
no.
I honestly think it's a de-stressor. I've played violent video games my entire life. I remember when I got Resident Evil on GameCube, my mom was like, as long as you know this isn't real. I'm like, I know, Mom.
Yeah, I wrote papers about it in high school about how violence wasn't correlated to video games.
What grade did you get on them?
I don't remember.
But I do think we are desensitized, just the media in general, like with movies, TV, there's just so much crazy stuff happening that.
Yeah.
Yo, my son in second grade was drawing Nazi zombies from Call of Duty in all of his his school projects. Like that's what, he just, and I'm like, he brings us home and I'm like, what?
Did he have swastikas on stuff?
Yes.
Did you get called into the teacher's office?
No, because they knew it was from the game, but like, even still, just like, for him, that was like I just play. I love killing zombies. You know, like in Germany, like that was just that. Like it was like, oh boy, what have I done? What have I done? Like so, you know, I probably shouldn't have been allowed to have children, but here we are. He's a good kid. He's a good kid.
I love these conversations every week because we had like a whole slew of other smaller things.
Yeah, what are we ever going to get to the news? This is a news podcast.
No, this is a discussion podcast.
we just discussed tonight.
I do have to. Brian says Dark Souls is definitely not a distressor. I have to disagree. I play Dark Souls and Souls-like games at the most stressful times of the year for me. Like I'm playing Lies of P right now. It's a busy season, and it's calming me down.
I love it. I'm here for it. I enjoyed this, like kind of this, because it's not black and white. There's no cut or dry answer. Like everybody's gonna have, like, listening to Cheesy talk about his experience with Nintendo growing up. It's because that's literally what his family had surrounded him with, right? Like that's, you know, and so it's just interesting. But I'm also thinking about like my nieces and nephews and some of the, and like they cannot, like they see Uncle Josh and they're like, we want to play Mario. We want to play, you know, we want to. But then I introduced my nephew to Halo, and then him and his father ended up playing through all the Halos together, and he's in like 2nd or 3rd grade. But he loved it. He thought, you know, until he had to play against me. He didn't love it so much then, but
a teachable lesson.
You gotta learn, kid. You gotta earn it. So it. I don't know. It's just it's kind of, and the whole Nintendo fans are just Disney adults. Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes you think about it differently, right?
I mean, I get it.
I can see it a little bit. Yeah.
So we went to Disney last year, and we went all out in Star Wars World in Galaxy's Edge, and we like dressed up as characters in Star Wars. Like you can't dress as an actual person, but like I dressed like a Jedi, and she dressed as like a rebel. So yeah, I'm definitely a Disney adult too. It's fine. Like I'm old enough to not care what other people think.
Yeah, well, and now Nintendo has a theme park, so it's just getting a little bit closer to that comparison.
I will be interested to see how they transition off of the Switch, because it could be bad if they mess it up.
I think they're being very careful about it.
I mean, it's a whole nother conversation we can get into another time. Yep. But I think marketing has a huge thing to do with why all of us are still so into pop culture. And our parents are really not. Like, my dad, you know, I could probably maybe give him a G.I. Joe or something that he might have had as a kid, and he'd be like, oh, that was kind of cool. I had that, you know, but
look at all of our rooms.
You hand me a Ninja Turtle, and I'm like, or an Optimus Prime, and I'm like, oh, like this was my youth. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I'm all about it. I see, just walking through Target yesterday, seeing the Cowabunga collection in the Switch aisle. I'm like, oh, I love seeing the turtle. Like, there's just something. There's just, again, it's those moments of safety. When I played with my turtles, it was like, it was just me in my room. But it was that, like, I just closed my door and I played with.
Close your door. It's getting worse, Josh. It's getting worse.
I did not. Oh God. Why did that Green Day song just pop in my head? Anyway, no, but yeah, it's just so funny, especially when you go back now and you watch like the Toys That Made Us and some of those things, or even the, watching Console Wars. I started watching it on a recent flight again, and it's like the business side of Nintendo was brutally cutthroat. They would like strong arm retailers into keeping other, so we're talking like about this family friendly company, and it's like, yo, these are ruthless businessmen that made this, that made this juggernaut go.
That also charged kids how much money for the power tip line?
Oh yeah, that was my favorite is when Nintendo got busted in court and their apology was a $5 off coupon. That was literally what they like. They didn't mess around.
Burn a hole in your hand. They sent you a pair of gloves, and that was it.
Yeah, and I think that was pretty. Like, I think that's like one of those like urban legends that's kind of gotten bigger over time with the whole 64 and the glove thing. So, anyway, we're an hour and 10 minutes. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with us. If you're here live, we appreciate all of you so very much. And we will see you guys in the next one. Later.